Expect the best used car deals guaranteed. Visit arnoldclark.com.
Welcome to Peter and Roughie's football show, sponsored by Arnold Clark. I'm Peter Martin, and on this Wednesday, I'm delighted to say Alan Rough and Barry Ferguson are with me here in the studio. We're going to talk football, but I wonder what we're going to be talking about. Only one thing to start talking about. Last night, Celtic Park, not quite full to capacity, but it was 1-1 from the first leg, and then a 7-goal thriller. Celtic knocked out by Cluj of Romania. Did they get what they deserved, Roughie?
Yeah, I think they did. I think right from the start. I don't know whether they thought, because they'd done reasonably well away from home, that the home tie was going to be a foregone conclusion. That wasn't to be. I just think the team selection was all over the place. I don't think there was a consistency in anything they did in the first half. I don't know whether some of the young boys just got caught up in the night and didn't know how to handle it, particularly when they scored. But when you go up and you go ahead, you've got to be professional enough to see out the game. And they didn't have anybody with that kind of experience, apart from Scott Brown, of European football, and to try and see out that kind of game.
Here's what the manager Neil Lennon made of it all.
Well, the first half we were so passive, no tempo. Don't know where that came from. You know, we weren't physical enough or aggressive enough, and we certainly didn't work hard enough to stop crosses, second balls, all the nuts and bolts of the game that you got to earn the right to play. We went out and tried to play from the off, and you know, the first goal, we got a warning beforehand. You know, we didn't stop across and they missed the header for our post, and you think that's the warning that we get, and then we do the exact same thing again. So at half time we got after them a little bit, we got the right response, but you know, we shot ourselves in the foot with the goals we've conceded. You know, we had the lead twice, and we've given it away.
Barry Ferguson, if the general consensus is your best midfielder is Callum McGregor consistently over the last couple of seasons, why do you sacrifice him and play him at left back?
It's a hard one. That strange for me. Callum McGregor is the best midfielder at Celtic I've got. He's one of the top midfielders in Scotland. So it was a massive decision for Lenny to move him out that midfield slot, because for me, he is the guy that makes him tick. He can go and get the ball off the back two. He can go and drive forward. He's been a real key player for Celtic. So to move him to left back last night, it was strange, but it's one of the ones he probably thinks he can put the trust in him because he's that good a player. But you've went and spent £3 million on a left back, and he's sitting on the bench. So that kind of tells you what Lenny thinks of the new left back that's come in. For me, a strange decision, because as I said, Callum McGregor is a top midfielder, and he's the driving force in the middle of that park.
Here's the reason from Neil Lennon.
Just to get Ncham in the midfield, because he's been playing well, and you know, just to have a couple of technicians in the field as well. And we know Bolly's been a bit sort of up and down with his form, so I don't think that really affected, you know, the result. I mean, he set up the first goal for Jamesy, played very well, and Ncham had a fine game as well. So the overall disappointment for me is the way we approached the first half. To be a goal down, having really created nothing, you know, and not really tested Cluj or, you know, set any sort of home tempo. We have to eradicate that. You know, we have to stop the slow play. We have to, you know, be a lot more aggressive with our play and a lot more purposeful with our passing going forward.
I don't think we can shirk the issue, Roughie. The buck stops with the manager. He made those decisions. His team made the mistakes that cost them Champions League playoff qualifier coming up. But over and above that, I think you have to look at a board. Are they signing players by committee? If they're signing the players, how much of a say did the manager have in it? And why would you sign £10 million worth of players and sit them on the bench?
Yeah, that's a big question that the Celtic supporters will want answered, and somebody will have to give them the truth. As Barry's already touched on it, if you sign a £7 million defender, you want him an immediate start. If he's injured, fair enough, but if he's not, he has to start the game. That's why you brought him in there, because you've identified that the players who are in there just now aren't good enough, and he should have been playing. And but we get back to Celtic every year on year at this time, and it's just been continual year on year downsizing and just loading the bases with the money. And Tierney's away, Van Dijk's away, Armstrong's away, Dembele's away. They're group stage players for me, and the players that have been replaced haven't really established themselves as Champions League players. So for me, it's a downsizing, money in the bank, and the supporters are not happy at all.
Yeah, no surprise that, even Scott Brown started out on Twitter last night, maybe lived to regret actually his first tweet on this one. This was someone actually criticising the left back McGregor, his choice of putting him in there instead of Bolingoli or anyone else. And I think Scott Brown himself actually liked that tweet, so clearly he was having an agreement with one of the Celtic fans over Lennon's choice of left back. And then quickly, I think he realised the error of his ways, was just flicking through Twitter, must have touched the blue button by accident, or the button by accident. Not my style to slag anyone off on Twitter. I'm fully behind the manager, and all the players are as well. If anyone should be getting a slagging or abuse, it's all on me tonight, as didn't perform. Sorry.
The reason why I'm not on Twitter, Peter.
Passions run high quickly after a game.
They do. That's why you've got to be careful with in this day and age. Social media. He's a big player. He's a captain. Obviously, he says he's made a mistake here. Right?
Yeah.
You've got to trust him, because he has been a men's for Celtic, and he's always spoke highly of Neil Lennon. I think it is a genuine mistake, and I like that he's taking a bit of the blame. That tells you it's a proper leader.
Yeah.
But social media, you've just got to be careful with that.
Yep, absolutely. Well, if you want to nail it and you want to give us your opinion on it on our YouTube channel, you can. For what it's worth, as we discuss it continually on this programme, the Celtic board need to change their attitude towards the qualifiers and their signing policy. Cluj should have been beaten last night with the quality they have there. The buck stops with the manager. He made tactical decisions which he got wrong. He also had £10 million worth of talent that I don't think you could justify sitting on the bench, especially since they were defensive players. But over and above that, I think the board needs to take the blame continually. Groundhog Day for Celtic fans. Just looking over the last few years at this reluctance to sign players of quality, to get them even into the group stages. They've downsized, as Roughie said, and they are not even a Champions League group stage club. It'll be a long time before they hit the group stages again if they continue to dither in the Champions League style signings that the fans crave. They want players, not that cost 20, 30 million pounds. They want players that can come in and make a difference to get them to the group stages and, of course, contribute domestically. Give us your thoughts on that on our YouTube channel. Of course, after every defeat, you have to bounce back, according to Ryan Christie.
Probably similar to the message we'll be telling ourselves, which is we have to kind of bounce back. Like I said, for such a devastating result so early in the season, it's now really going to be a test of our character. We need to bounce back straight away at the weekend, because as a competition we want to stay in, obviously, and next Thursday comes along and we have to be right back at it again. It's a good thing about football that the next game's never too far away to kind of right your wrongs.
Well, Celtic are out. There's no point in bumping our gums about the fact that the Scottish champions have to play qualifiers and potentially 4 of them to even get to the group stages, but quite simply they're not good enough to get past the qualifier. Yet again knocked out on this third stage. Dan Petrescu can look forward to a playoff to try and get to the group stages, but even the Romanian boss thinks that's unfair.
It's a pity that a team like Celtic will not be in the group stage of the Champions League. It's not fair, I have said before. Even CFR Cluj should play direct to the group stage, but I don't know why the rules are like this. And we have to play 4 qualification games before we go. We already played 6 games. We beat Astana, Maccabi and Celtic, and we're still not in the Champions League. This is, I don't think it's fair. Even Celtic, they should have not played in this competition. They should go direct to the group stage. But these are the rules, and I'm not happy about these rules, but I'm happy for my team today.
So Dan Petrescu is talking about how unfair it is, Roughie, but quite simply, when you consider that some of the richer clubs want an exclusive club, in the next 5 or 10 years, Celtic might never see the Champions League group stages again if guys like Karl-Heinz Rummenigge have their way.
Yeah, that seems to be the plan. The powers that be in the likes of Germany, Italy, Spain and England, I'd throw them into it as well. They want an exclusive league. And if you're not up there playing with the big boys, you're not going to get invited to the party. Yeah, and that's the bottom line. You know, and the further they don't mix it with the big teams, then they won't be included.
Yep, here's just an indication of how bad a result that was last night. There you have it. There's the official rankings of the teams. And you can see where Cluj fit into this equation at 288. Celtic at 47. Just look at some of the teams that have a better points ranking on the FIFA list. Don't want to continue your pain, so I won't. We'll now look to the Europa League, which, of course, I'm not a big fan of. I make no bones about telling you. I think it's a league constructed for the teams that really have to take the scraps off the table that are not good enough to be invited into the group stages of the Champions League. This is the Paupers tournament in my book. We're going to talk about it. Celtic are going to have to battle to get there. Rangers and Aberdeen are involved too, and we'll talk about that after the quiz. Our player in the quiz actually won the European Super Cup with a Scottish club in the 80s. Someone who's going to win the Super Cup tonight between Liverpool and Chelsea. It's certainly going to be a mouth-watering one. We'll get the guys to give us their opinion on that just shortly. Of course, Rangers and Aberdeen have to try and keep the coefficient going for Scottish clubs in European competition as well. Rangers with a 4-2 advantage against Midland. Stephen Gerrard's taking nothing for granted, and he concedes that Celtic's defeat last night, is a worry for Scottish clubs.
It's certainly going to be detrimental because obviously all the Scottish teams need to do as well as we can to improve the coefficient to try and give ourselves an advantage in these European competitions. So from that aspect, it's very disappointing. But for me, I'm the manager of Glasgow Rangers, and my focus is on us and the challenges that face us. But I think what it showed last night is European ties are never over, even when you get a positive result in the first leg. And some of these teams that people don't know much about, Cluj from Romania for example, Midtjylland from Denmark, they carry a huge threat, and they're so desperate for financial reasons to progress in Europe like most of us. So my players need to take note of last night and make sure that we try and deal with our second leg much better.
Funnily enough, Barry, I don't think complacency will in any way seep into that Rangers side ahead of a 4-2 advantage against Midland.
No, certainly not after what happened last night for Celtic. I'm sure Steven Gerrard will be getting into his players about that. Looking at the first leg, Rangers should beat them. But you've seen that they scored 2 goals against Rangers, so you've got to always be wary of that. I think Rangers are in a good place at this moment in time. Look strong when they're attacking. You just need to make sure they shut up shop at the back, because this team are capable of scoring a goal. But going on form, Rangers should get through.
Yep. Just on the point of any players coming in, Steven Gerrard reckons he's got all he needs in the squad.
Not at the moment. I think we're very pleased with the 2 recognised number 9s that we've got. They're both in form, they're both firing, both happy and in a great place. We have a youngster still at the moment in Zach Rudden, who's just come back from a knee injury, so he's part of the squad at the moment. And it's very difficult to make a decision in that area because we don't know how many games we have to prepare for moving forward. So we'll see how the next qualifying games go, and then maybe make a decision later on in the window.
So he reckons he's got enough. The strikers are indeed scoring goals, Roughie. And in a perverse sort of way, the result last night for Celtic is a huge shot in the arm, I think, for Rangers and their confidence. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree that every game that Rangers play now up into that game at Ibrox against Celtic is a booster for them. If they win tonight, maybe 2 or 3-0, it sets out a message to everybody else that they aren't going to slacken up. And every game leading up to that, if you were to go into that Celtic game with the kind of form that they're in and the goals that they're scoring, you would fancy them very, very strongly on that aspect.
Yeah. Barry, with each match you can see the momentum. I mean, sometimes you might not necessarily have the best squad, but certainly if you get that belief rippling through the squad, they can achieve beyond expectations.
Yeah, I think that's what they're doing, Peter. I'm seeing a real desire and hunger in that Rangers squad at this moment in time. He just says, look, the quality's no what it was 10, 15 years ago. We all know that. But the thing that's jumped out at me is it's the hunger and desire that this team's shown. Regarding players, I still think they're probably one short, and that's up front. I don't think you can go the full season with only 2 recognised strikers. So I think that's certainly one area he'll be looking to strengthen. But at this moment in time, I think the Rangers squad, is looking quite good just now.
Yep. Over and above that, we've got one other team that we're looking to, Roughie, to try and do a job, and they really have to step up to the plate. That's Aberdeen against Rijeka.
Yeah, massive blow. Cosgrove not playing. He's the player that's been on fire for them. He's the one who's been scoring the goals. They really need to put in a performance. I'm sure the supporters in the stadium will really urge them on, and it's all about the first goal. We say that on numerous occasions, but if they were to get a first goal, they would believe that they can get something out of that, but that's the important one for me.
Do you believe they can get it?
Yeah, if they were to get an early goal, 15, 20 minutes, yeah, I think they might have the strength there to go on with the crowd behind them, so let's hope they do.
Yeah, if you get to a situation where suddenly we don't have 1, 2 or 3 clubs in Europa League group stages, I think it's a sad indictment on our game. Just when we think, and most of us were looking and thinking, maybe we're coming out of the doldrums here.
Yeah, certainly last year I was impressed with a lot of the games, and I'm thinking, the quality's starting to step up again, but we really need to be having 3-4 teams, whether 1 in the Champions League and 2 or 3 in the Europa League. We need to start getting teams into the group stages. It's so important. I still think there's good quality up here, Peter.
Yep.
But on the night we need to start producing, because that's when you get a bit of pressure put on you. That's when you need to start handling these situations.
Yep. You can always tell when there's a manager in a state of panic. He starts to look for some experienced players to try and steady the ship. Hearts have signed 35-year-old Glenn Whelan from Aston Villa.
Yeah, it's all experience in the world at the club level and international level. That's why they're going to bring him. He will do a job for them. He's playing in a really, really strong league, so I'm sure he'll be able to adapt in quite easily.
Good signing for Hibs. Glenn Middleton coming in there on loan from Rangers.
Yeah, he's another boy that in flashes you've seen he's got ability, but he's one that needs to go out. It's similar to Scott Allen. It's meant to have seen he needs to go out now and play 30-40 games and show that he can consistently play at a high level. But listen, he's got the talent, there's no doubt about that.
There are many Liverpool fans, Roughie, who'll have an emotional night tonight. They'll be in Istanbul remembering one Steven Gerrard just literally rallying the troops with a wonder header, and then, you know, the miracle happened. Liverpool came back and won it in penalties against AC Milan. Who's going to win it tonight between Liverpool and Chelsea?
Well, in the evidence of the weekend, Liverpool's the only winner for me. I thought Chelsea were poor at the weekend there, and I think Liverpool have got something to prove to everybody.
Yeah, strangely enough, Frank Lampard's got a job and a half. Can't make any signings, still has to go with what he's inherited, although you would say to yourself, wait a minute, apart from Hazard leaving, they've still got quality there.
Yeah, they're still good quality. I think it's going to be an up and down season because he's going to give a lot of young boys a chance. I think you'll see the best of Chelsea next season.
Yeah, okay. Thanks to everyone for subscribing on our YouTube channel. The figures going up and up, watching the show, people joining the football family on PLZ Soccer, and Peter and Roughie's Football Show is just one of many football programmes that you can watch on there, one-to-ones, specials, competitions that you can win some prizes as well. So tell your mates, like, share, follow us, subscribe to YouTube channel, join us on Facebook, and you can download the app on your phone. You'll get all the news from across football, right across the world, and you get the videos on your phone. You can watch it while you're going into work in the morning and give us your thoughts as well. You can interact, record videos, and you may well even feature on the show. Hopefully you'll join the football family. Thanks to Roughie, thanks to Barry Ferguson, from myself, Peter Martin. Thank you for watching.
Expect the best used car deals guaranteed. Visit arnoldclark.com.